Hello again, my name's John and welcome to another video. Now the weather today is absolutely horrendous, as you saw at the start of the video, and it's a perfect day to stay in and make some wonderful bread, and this recipe is called a honey and oatmeal bread. Here's a list of the ingredients you'll need to make this bread. There'll also be a list in the description box underneath the video. I'll be making mine in a stand mixer, but it is possible to make it by hand. Right, I'll get started by bringing the 240 grams, that's 8.5 ounces of water to a boil. Once it's boiling, get it straight into the mixer bowl. Don't hang around with this, as the water quickly evaporates when it's on the heat and you'll be left short of the quantity needed. Right, add the oats to the boiling water, followed by the brown sugar, the salt, butter and the honey. Whatever you do, don't add the other three ingredients yet, as the hot water will scramble the eggs, cook the flour and kill the yeast stone dead. Now mix these ingredients using the paddle attachment on your machine for 2 minutes. Then allow the mixture to cool. This will take approximately 10 minutes. And if you're doing this by hand, just use a whisk for this part. Okay, you need to get the mix down to around 42 degrees Celsius, that's 107 Fahrenheit. Then you can add the rest of the ingredients. First I'll add the beaten eggs. Incidentally, here's a little tip. When you've beaten the 2 eggs at the start of the recipe, take out a tablespoon of the mix and put it in a separate small container to use as the egg wash a little later on in the recipe. This will save you cracking open another egg, as you only need a very small amount. Now add the flour and the yeast. Then using the dough hook, mix this for 6 minutes. If you're doing this recipe by hand, you need to knead the dough on a worktop using a little flour, as this dough is a bit on the sticky side, and you need to knead it for about 10 minutes. If you'd like to take a look at my sandwich bread video, I show you exactly how to knead bread dough by hand. I'll leave a link in the description box below the video. And this is what the dough looks like after 6 minutes of mixing with the dough hook. It looks very sticky, but don't worry, it's supposed to look like this. Now using a scraper or a spatula, turn the dough out onto a floured surface and knead the dough for 1 minute. Don't incorporate all the flour on the bench, just enough to stop the dough from sticking to your hands on the bench. Once you've kneaded the dough, shape it into a ball like I'm doing in the video. If you're making the dough by hand, you should be at this stage after about 10 minutes of kneading. Now get the dough into a lightly oiled bowl, cover it, I use a shower cap for this, and let it rise for 1 hour in a warm and draft-free place. While waiting for the dough to rise, one job you can do is grease a 900 gram or 2 pound loaf tin. For this you can use lard, vegetable shortening or margarine. My particular favourite is a good knob of butter, and for belt and braces, half a teaspoon of vegetable oil too. Okay, after 1 hour the dough should have at least doubled in size. Turn it out onto the workbench and start to knock it back. That simply means force all the gas out of it by kneading it for a few seconds. It will be a bit sticky, but don't use any flour this time. Do as I do in a video, then get it into the loaf tin and gently press it into the corners. What you could do now is lightly dust the top of the dough with a little flour, cover it with a lightweight tea towel and let it rise in a warm spot for about 45 minutes. Or you could use a homemade proofing box like mine. All it is a large storage container with a lid. All I do is place the loaf tin inside and float the box in a sink of warm water at about 50 degrees Celsius, that's 125 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. I have a damp cloth inside the box to stop the tin sliding about and to maintain a moist atmosphere. Then all I have to do is place a weight on top of the box to stop it bobbing about in the water and set the timer for 30 minutes. It works great. When there's only 10 minutes to go on the rise, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, that's 356 degrees Fahrenheit or gas mark 4. I'm setting mine to 160 Celsius as my oven is fan assisted and it runs about 20 degrees Celsius hotter than indicated on the dial. Okay, once the time is up, carefully lift the tin out of the box. Don't let the dough rise any more than this, because it does continue to rise when it's in the oven, and if it's over risen when you put it in, it will fall over at the edges and it'll end up looking like some giant mushroom. Now carefully brush on the egg wash. Don't put a lot of pressure on with the pastry brush. Also try not to go too close to the rim of the tin, because as the bread is cooking, the egg wash will bake hard and possibly stick to the tin and the bread, making it difficult to remove the finished loaf from the tin. Now, using the egg wash as a kind of glue, sprinkle a few of the raw oats over the top of the loaf for a very effective decoration, and it also gives the finished crust a little bit of a crunch. Okay, get the loaf into the preheated oven and set the timer for 30 minutes. After 20 minutes, turn the bread around for even cooking. Once the 30 minutes is up, take the loaf out of the oven and immediately remove it from the tin. If yours is a little bit reluctant to come out, it'll probably be stuck around the top of the tin caused by the egg wash. Just run a thin bladed knife around the edge of the rim and it should come straight out. What I do now is put it back into the oven for a further 4 minutes to firm up the outer crust. This is an optional step, but I think it strengthens the loaf and definitely makes it a bit more crispier. And there it is in all its glory. Light, golden brown and full of goodness. Our customers, friends and family love this bread, even the kids. Okay, it's been 30 minutes since it came out of the oven, so I'll cut a couple of slices and let you see the inside of the bread. And as you can see, it has a nice close crumb and is soft and light. Only one thing to do now, and that's to try a little with some of my homemade butter. If you're interested in how I make the butter, I have a video on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description box below the video. And it really is a delicious bread, and not at all difficult to make. And like I said earlier, you can make it by hand, but this is one bread that is a lot easier made with a machine. So, thanks again for watching. I'll be back with another recipe very soon. Please like, share, comment and maybe subscribe by hitting the circle above. In the meantime, here's some of my other videos you may want to watch. Bye for now.